How many promises have been made to you? And how many were actually kept? They promised they would change. They promised they wouldn't abandon you. They promised they would pay, that they would value you, that they would be there. And then they disappeared. They pretended they never said anything. Or worse, they blamed you. Promises have this strange power. They fill you with hope at first, and with disappointment in the end. And Machiavelli knew this centuries ago. He understood before anyone else that promising is one of the most effective weapons of power, but also one of the most dangerous. Promising is cheap. Delivering is expensive. Machiavelli's harsh truth. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince in 1513. A brutal manual on how power works, not how it should be, but how it really is. He observed kings, nobles, wars, and betrayals, and he concluded something uncomfortable. A prince never ought to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interest. Heavy? Yes, but if you look calmly, how many times have you seen this logic in real life? People who promise just to control you, just to keep you waiting, just to buy time or an advantage. The promise is humanity's oldest drug. Since Eden, humanity has been seduced by promises. The serpent didn't force Eve to do anything. It only promised, "You will be like God." And that was enough to activate desire, the illusion, the haste to have something that wasn't for now. The promise touches your emptiness, your fear, your dream. And when you are blinded by a promise, you become manipulable. Politics, relationships, and promises. Machiavelli wasn't just talking about kings. What he wrote applies today. Politicians promise the world until the day after the election because they know that hope blinds judgment. Companies promise happiness, freedom, success with one click because they know you buy more driven by emotion than by logic. People promise eternal love in the heat of the moment, but at the first conflict, they disappear because promising is easy. Delivering requires character. Machiavelli warned, men are so simple and yield so readily to the necessities of the moment that he who deceives will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. The Bible also exposes this. Jesus knew the weight of words and said something strong in Matthew 5. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. In other words, stop living by promises and stop making promises you won't keep. The Christian faith is based on a promise, but it's a promise from God, who does not lie, does not change, and does not need to manipulate. But men, they are inconstant. That's why trusting blindly anyone who promises too much is asking to fall. Why do you still believe? You may have already been betrayed, deceived, disappointed, and yet you believe again. Why? Because promises offer shortcuts, the illusion that you can skip the pain, the process, the effort. And because it hurts too much to face the reality, not everyone who says, "I love you," loves you. Not everyone who says, "Trust me," deserves your trust. Machiavelli didn't say this out of malice. He said it because he knew. The world is made of interests. And if you don't understand that, you'll keep being bait for those who know how to play. The antidote to empty promises. You don't have to become cynical, but you need to become aware. Here are 3 keys. Observe actions, not words. Machiavelli wrote, "A man is judged more by his actions than by his promises." Doubt those who promise too much, too quickly. Hasty promises are disguised traps. Make fewer promises and deliver more. This creates real power because in a world of empty words, those who deliver become rare. You can keep falling for the same stories, the same beautiful promises, the same well-crafted speeches. Or you can start seeing clearly. Machiavelli warned you. Jesus warned you. Life has already warned you. Now it's up to you. Will you continue to be enchanted by the promises of those who don't deliver? Or will you become someone who values truth more than discourse? Do you still believe in promises? That's okay. But from now on, believe with your eyes open. If this made you reflect, subscribe to the channel and comment below, "Now I look at actions, not words." That way, I'll know you made it this far and that Machiavelli didn't speak in vain.